Okay, let's go here and then let's go minimize this and let's go over here and let's go to the beginning and let's go to slideshow from the start. Okay.
Yep, fantastic. I can see it. What I'm going to do as soon as we go live, I'm going to stop my video. I'm going to mute my screen so it's all just you. If there's anything, so what I'm going to do is, because we're live streaming on YouTube and Facebook, and we're also using Swapcard, most of the people are going to put in the Swapcard's chat box questions. So what I'll do is I'll copy it into Zoom, because only me and you can see Zoom. So nobody else has got access to Zoom. And then you can see the messages from there. If you've got a problem or something, just drop something in the chat box for me. I can see that and I can sort it out for you in the background.
Okay. All right. No, I think it should be pretty good. I'm pretty expert on Zoom, short of any technical malfunctions. Good to go.
Good to go. Yeah, we a couple of ladies here, so if there's a problem, we all jump in and just quickly do whatever needs to be done to get everything live up and going. We've got about 9 minutes left before we go live, so which is good.
I'm excited.
Very excited. You're all done and planned, and you're all excited to address, I almost want to say, the nation.
The nation, right? The country, the foreign soil, all of my friends in South Africa. Well, I did a session, a training session over the summer in June, and it was a great group. I had a great time, and I always love to visit my foreign fam, my KW people. So yeah, I'm excited and really grateful to be here.
Good, good. And tell me where you're based. Where you from?
I'm in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, lovely. Lovely. So yeah, here in Pretoria, we've got very rainy, wet weather. Not cold, because
Right.
it's
Yeah,
summer.
you're in your summer season, right?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, well, it's snow falling outside as we speak. I know y'all don't get snow ever. So yeah, it's snowing like it's probably gonna snow all day. Teeny tiny little snowflakes, which are pretty to look at, but not so great to clean or drive in. So
I
let's
can
just stay
imagine.
home and hang out with you guys today.
Yeah. What is so we have seen snow, I think about almost 20 years ago.
20
But
years ago, one
yeah,
time you had
yeah, and especially in this area, we do get a little bit of snow over in the mountains, Table Mountain, and that sort of area, as it gets very cold then. But yeah, then you have to literally go up the mountain to have a look at them. So yeah, but otherwise, in the cities itself, we don't have snow. I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing, but it does get very cold, but not as cold, I think, as they by you.
No chance. No, I don't think so. Now, tell me this: should I encourage participation and questions? And because I would love to know, this session is really on the 36 touch and consistent, systematic communication with their spheres and database. And I'm actually interested, and I think a lot of value comes from learning what everyone does, or what is their number one touch that gets them their best return in communicating with their database. And I'd love for them all to share what really works for them when they're communicating with their database. What have they done that's really worked? Because I think people get a lot of value. Instead of me blathering on and on about, theory, what actually works with the consumer in South Africa? Is that a thing I can do?
Yes, of course, you can do
Okay,
that. So when they do answer in the live chat box, what I'll do is I'll just copy it in the chat box for you. Then at least you
perfect.
can see the responses, and then you can respond on that. So yeah, we do have responses, and as the session go past, I just copy them in. Some of them are
Okay.
just hi messages, some of them are questions, some of them are just sort of saying what they feel or what they want to do. So I copy all of those messages, and then you can just have a look at them.
Perfect. And did they see each other's questions in
Yes.
Swap Card? Okay, awesome.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So they do.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So some of them, they respond to one another. I don't necessarily copy those messages, because it's just sort of a response to,
Conversation, side
yeah, yeah,
conversation.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But the rest of them, they'll copy for you, because between all the systems, there's some of the integration that obviously, we're not familiar with. So this way, it's just easier.
It's
Um,
cleaner for
it's
sure.
cleaner, yeah.
Yeah.
It's cleaner. And if there's something, at least you can chat with me and nobody else sees it, which is also nice. So we've
Yes.
got about 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes to go. Uh, There's a bit of a 30 seconds delay between Zoom and on swap card.
Okay.
So I'll sort of, when I say we live, you can just start chatting. Then they can see it.
Okay. All right. So
Right.
as soon as you give me the go to start talking, I'm on.
Yep. Oh,
All right.
yes. Okay. Fantastic.
All right. I'm excited.
Yeah, it is. It's so different. If you think about it, in the olden days, and South Africans as well, we like to see people and touch them and face them.
Yep.
And with the new COVID, it's been a, I don't know, a different.
Challenge. It's hard.
Yes, it's
Humans
very
are
hard.
social animals, and
Yeah.
for us to be isolated. I just had a coaching call this morning at 8:30 with a client in Atlanta, and she was really losing her stuff because she's used to doing her business by seeing the people at all of the places, and
Mm,
she's not seeing the people. And this is a pretty hard charging, tough cookie, high D personality. She was crying this morning because she's feeling so empty and missing those human connections.
yeah.
It's really taking a toll on everybody, sadly.
No, definitely. I think in South Africa as well, we back on level 3, which means that we can social, but to the limit. So they've taken away no drinking whatsoever. So I think people misses the drinking more than they miss the people. And we limit it. We need to be from 9 till 6 in the morning. We're not allowed to be out on the road.
Yeah.
And funny enough, it has quite an effect on people. And a lot of moms are still working from home. The schools are closed.
Mhm.
And that's a challenge on its own. If you talk to some of the mothers, they're
Oh,
working moms.
absolutely. Absolutely. These moms today, I am grateful my daughter is 23 and out of the house and responsible for herself. I don't know what I would do if I had to homeschool my child and work.
Yeah,
I
no,
I don't know what I would. I mean, you do what you have to do, like anything
mm,
else, but I definitely can appreciate that as an incredibly stressful situation for moms. 100%. It sounds like American moms are having the same challenges as South African moms.
I think so. I think it's all over the world. I think it's not just isolated. I think it's, as a working mom, at least when you're at work, you've got someone else looking after your kids, teaching them, keeping them busy, entertained. Now you're a working mom at home and you've still got all that other challenges. And especially if you've got smaller children, I don't
Agreed.
know. And thank God my kids are also out of the house, so I
Older.
don't have those challenges. But if I hear mom speaking, you can see some of them are absolutely going crazy.
Yeah.
Um, we had a dad speaking on the radio the other day, and he said all his wife was asking him, please, can she get a holiday? And please, none of them must come. And I thought to myself, shame, she must be exhausted.
Right? Oh my
Mm,
gosh. Yeah. That is yeah, exhausted. And then how do you pour into yourself, right? If
mm,
you, I mean, God forbid, I've got some folks that have spouses that are not really support. I've got a client out in the Midwest who is saying, well, dad doesn't like to get out of bed, so I have to do everything, and then I have to get ready to go to work, and then I have to leave the house at a certain time, and I can't do that because he doesn't want to get out of bed, and he's not working, mind you. And I'm saying, I'm
oh,
sorry, what?
shoo. Yeah.
So let me understand this.
Yeah.
Your commissions from real estate sales are paying, supporting your family, and he doesn't want to get out of bed to help with the two kids that yeah, I mean, and it's stress on top of stress on top of stress. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can lighten the mood a little bit of these folks and give them something exciting to focus
exciting.
in on, at least for these few days of family reunion, and something to engage with in their business, and give them something, pour into them some, so that they can continue to pour into the humans that count on them.
Yeah, no, definitely. We've got about 50 seconds to go and then
50
we're live.
seconds.
Yeah, yes. Are you
I,
waiting for another lady? It looks like a lady to come into the Zoom meeting.
that would be my admin, which if you could let her in, that'd be grand. And if you can't, that's fine.
No,
I'm
I'm letting her in. She's in.
okay. Okay.
And she should be in. I'm going to put off my video at 20 seconds.
Okay.
Then we're going to be live. 15. We're almost there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live.
Good morning, South Africa. I am Krista Mathis, and I'm super excited to be with you this morning. So blessed to have been invited to chat with all of you this morning. We're going to talk about a topic that is so vital to your business this morning. I hope you're as excited as I am to talk about our favorite conversation, lead generation. Lead generation being the lifeblood of your business, and how through a systematic touch plan, you can absolutely generate the most repeat and referral business from the people who already know, like, and trust you to grow the business of your dreams, to live your life by design. We're going to dive into this. I want to let you know, if you have questions, comments, I will ask some questions for you. And if you could respond to me, I definitely will get energy in this virtual environment from seeing your responses. So please do not hesitate to put in your swap card, chat, your questions, your responses, and I promise I will address each and every single one of them. So excited to connect with you guys on this topic. Lead generation and the 36 touch plan. Ready, set, here we go. So a couple of things that we should talk about first is understanding that your database is your business, and your business is your database. And every business has a core group of clients or customers that are going to continue to use that business for their needs. And for you, it's your real estate clients, your past clients, the people who know, like, and trust you, that we're putting into a database. And there are 3 different levels of the Millionaire Real Estate Agents database. The first level is essential. This is sort of your bare bones database. The second level is effective. This is when you're having two-way communication on a regular basis with your database. And the third level is exceptional. And I'm sure, just like us, you all want to be exceptional in your businesses. So we're going to focus on getting to that exceptional level in our databases. All right, so let's talk about, what does an essential database consist of? The data that you're going to get from the people in your essential database, it's going to consist of their name. Naturally, you need to know who you're dealing with. It's going to consist of their contact information, including their physical address, because we need to be able to be mailing to them in addition to phone calling and engaging them in social media and all the other ways that we have to connect. We're also going to be looking at managing the information about past business with them and their past contact records, keeping some ongoing information so that when we do reconnect with them from month to month or quarter to quarter or social engagement to social engagement, we can go back and see what the conversation was when we left that person and where we can pick up and have some continuity in that conversation. This is the part that makes people feel really special, that you remembered these pieces of information about them. And little do they know, we're relying on our system and our CRMs, and that's okay. And we're also having at-will communication, meaning we're sending out information to them as we choose to. Now our effective level database is next level. So now we've actually obtained permission to have two-way conversations. They are allowing us to step into their real estate need world. And we're going to start really identifying their needs and figuring out how we can fulfill their needs. We're also going to be collecting more personal information, things that they like, their insights and their preferences, so that later we can break them down into segments and group like-minded or liked preference people into groups. You may see some of these groups popping up on Facebook. Maybe you've gotten invited to a community group. It's very similar to that, is using labels and tags in our CRMs just to be clear on who lives where and who likes fishing, who goes on vacation to the mountains, those types of pieces of information where you can connect at a higher level, on a more effective level, if you will, with your future clients and past clients. And we're also going to be looking to implement purposeful and consistent communication. We're all dealing in a virtual world now, and consistency breeds trust in the virtual world. So it's really important that we're consistent. And contacting your database, as long as we're following a plan and have a schedule, this consistency will give us a high return on our investment for the time we're spending communicating with our database. Now, when we look at the exceptional level of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent database, we're looking at a very strong pool of people who know, like, and trust you, which means your database, or your data bank, as Gary likes to refer to it as, is a group of people that already know you. They have heard of you, they have your information, and if you were to call them with a couple pieces of information, they would know who you were. Your database is not a phone book directory, okay? So we're not putting everyone in the database. This is a tight community of people that you have established these relationships with. That's the goal. We want to get our database to that level. And from time to time, looking at your database and discovering what data are you missing? What gaps do you have in your client contact information? And can you get on the phone and discover that? Can you get on the internet and data scrape that? Can you find a phone number or an email? Can you get on Facebook and pull more information, such as birthdays, telephone numbers, email addresses? Facebook is an incredible tool for culling data about your current database clients and past clients. So don't miss that opportunity. And the highest level of your database is when we install an automated custom communication built around triggers. Think about a trigger as an event. Something happens, they get a communication. And this is really the ultimate goal. Many of you are probably using CRMs that allow you to set up drip campaigns, and you can set up custom drip campaigns around house anniversaries, birthdays, births of children, things like that, where they're going to get a systematized custom message that is automated, coming from you, branded to you, and it's leveraged so that you're not actually taking the time and sitting down and penning that message at that moment. This is what we're looking for, the exceptional. So one of the most important things about your database is we have to keep on our radar that we need to be constantly feeding the database. Meaning, when we're doing our lead generation calls, and Bold tells us 20 contacts per day is the average we should be making. If you're behind on your goal, double that. If you're in a down market where the buyers are prevailing and the sellers' homes are not selling so quickly, we need to be on the phone more than ever. And what we're doing when we're calling is we're lead generating. Now let's go through the definition of what a lead is in this scenario. And for those of you MREA readers and people who are familiar with this idea from the MREA, we're going to start talking about some MREA 2 concepts. So you're going to get a little sneak peek into the book that's not quite out yet. And we've been hearing a little bit about it in drips and drip database. That was funny. I made a little joke. All right. So when we're lead generating, the intention of lead generation is for two purposes. And the first purpose is to generate leads to fill our pipeline over time. People who have raised their hand and said, yes, I have a real estate need. I want to do something this year. Here's some information, but I'm sort of not in relationship with you yet. Not really sure I want to use you as my agent. So think of a lead, if we can go back to the MREA, think of a lead as a haven't met for clarity, okay? A lead is a have not met. You do not have a relationship with them yet. And think of a contact, someone that's in your database, you have information on them and you have permission to contact them. They have either done a real estate transaction with you or they have the intention of, and they've raised their hand saying, yes, I want to use you as my agent. So leads, contacts, mets, haven't mets, they're going to be going into your database and we're going to be treating them a little bit differently. So the two purposes of lead generation: one, fill in your pipeline; two, grow your database, which means we've got to be asking the people who already know, like, and trust us for referrals, right? Or we need to be adding information from people that we meet at open houses or social engagements or online. We've got to be adding their data into our database as well as a lead. And then we're going to follow some processes to deepen those relationships to grow your business base. Both of those types of people are going to go into what's called a cultivation bucket. They're going to get some touches from you to deepen that relationship. And that cultivation process is both interactive and needs-based. In order for you to be growing your database, there's some fancy math out there that you can use to discover how many people you need to have in your database in order to achieve your business goal for the year. And set yourself a weekly growth goal for your leads, the leads that are going to be added to your database. Get that weekly growth goal. Gary says 3 a day you should be shooting for to add to your database, and put that right on your 411 so it's top of mind. So when you set out to do your lead generation activities, you're super clear and intentional on, I need to find 3 new people to add to my database every day. Add the data as you connect with them. As you're reaching out to the leads to get them to have a conversation with you or start to develop that relationship, add the data as you go. As I mentioned, there's lots of different, there's 3 levels of the database, and adding the data is going to deepen that relationship and give you more opportunity to connect with them over time. You're also going to ask to get their permission to communicate with them, which over time will cement the relationship. And we are, after all, in a relationship-based business. I am going to take 1 second here and check in with the chat. I love that you guys are engaging. I see a few messages here. And remember, this cultivation bucket is ultimately going to lead to a transaction. All right, so let's take a look at the chat. All right, good morning. Good morning. All right. 4 points on the essentials. I will absolutely go back and go through the 4 points of the essentials. Maybe we could do that towards the end, because that information might become clear as we move through the conversation. If we're still not clear on the 4 points of the essential, just shoot another message in the chat and I'll be happy to go back to that slide and reiterate that for you. Okay, so you might be thinking, why stay in touch? What does this really mean to me? And tell me, what am I going to get by putting all this energy into staying in touch with the people in my database, growing the database? Sounds like I'm putting a lot of work into this. Well, agents that stay in touch with their database in a systematic and consistent fashion typically grow their businesses by 20% annually. 20% is significant growth year over year. They typically receive 2 referrals for every 10 past clients that they have in their database. 2 referrals for every 10 is a pretty good conversion rate for referrals as well. And 10% of all the people in the database will typically do a transaction every year. Now, this is a National Association of Realtors statistic, and I'm figuring we've got how many millions of real estate agents here in the US. That statistic probably translates over to your business as well. And the number one reason to stay in touch with your people systematically and consistently is to earn that mind share. We know that there's only a couple of spaces in any category that the human brain can retain. Like if you want to think, for example, of the top 2 cola companies, you probably think of Coke and Pepsi. They're the most popular. If I said to you, Kleenex, you all know that I'm talking about facial tissue. Kleenex is a name brand. However, it's become really acceptable that Kleenex is the number 1 recognized type of tissue. And there's only 2 there. So it's interesting to think when you're consistently and systematically staying in touch with the people in the database that you're earning that 1 and 2 spot in the client or consumer's mind share space that's going to win you more business. And the systematic, consistent part is you're probably going to be in touch with them in their window of need. And now they know your name brand. They're familiar with it. They're comfortable with it. You've built some trust, and you're more likely to get that consumer, client, lead that's in your database to do business with you. And that's the name of the game. All right. So let's talk about the 19 to Connect plan. What this is a systematic, consistent touch plan that we're going to use specifically with your leads. So your haven't mets. They're going to get a touch plan that you're going to set up with the following touches. You're going to call them 4 times, once a quarter, following the DTD2. Where are my bold folks? Who's taken bold or never-ending referrals taught by bold coach Steve Schlueter? DTD2 is the systematic way the alphabet has been broken up so that we're calling 2 letters of the alphabet every week, 26 letters in the alphabet, 2 letters a week. That's 13 weeks, which happens to be a quarter. So you're really touching these folks by phone, even if you're leaving a voicemail, once a quarter. So that's the first, 4 touches by phone. The next is 12 touches, and these can be a myriad of things. You want to send maybe a monthly email newsletter, letting people know what's happening in your business, what's happening in the real estate market, maybe what's happening in an area near them. These can be done by video. You can send out gratitude videos, thanking people for being part of your world, your past clients. You can send them out data that's important to them, that's valuable, that they're really wanting, maybe they don't know they need yet is serving them at a certain level to help move the relationship forward and cement you as their real estate local market expert. 2 touches a year are going to be promotional direct mail items, meaning maybe that's the calendar that y'all send out at the beginning of every year. Or maybe it's a coupon that you send out when you're highlighting a local business or restaurant that you've partnered with, sharing a database to do a promotion, and you're going to send out items of value, direct mail to the people who are leads in your database 2 times a year. And then once a year, they're going to get an invitation to an annual event, whether it's a client event where you're inviting them, a party where you're specifically inviting them, or a movie night, some type of event where you're pulling those leads, those haven't mets, closer to your circle so you can start considering them a met or a contact. All right. If you guys have questions about any of these touches, I'd also love to hear what touches are you using that are getting you great returns on investment with your spheres and databases. What are you using that's really working for the consumer in your area? I'd love if you'd share that in your swap card chat. I think a ton of value can be gotten by understanding what other agents are doing rather than me telling you. All right, so share away that information, and we appreciate your engaging with that. There's a lot of value there. All right, so the intention of this 19 to connect is to really start moving those people into a more cemented, bought-in, permissioned relationship. Those touches with the 19 to connect are really one-way offer base. Maybe there's a call to action. I send an email, I say, hey, we have great interest rates. Reach out today to be connected for a buyer consultation and to talk with a lender. It's offer-based, it's valuable, and it's going to cause them to come more close to me and move more into my contact circle. So we're really cultivating them to cement us as that real estate agent of choice. And we're going to move them from that lead bucket over to the contact bucket. And once we have that permission and they engage us, and now we have a two-way permission-based relationship that becomes more need-focused, value-based, we're going to start sharing with them the 36 touch. And this is really the meat and potatoes of the conversation today. But we had to talk about the database and how to build it and what it should consist of and how it should look before we can truly get the most value out of this 36 to convert. So once we've got folks in the database, they've agreed to communicate with us. We're having two-way communications. We're sending them out something. They're responding to us. We're having conversations by phone. They're engaging with us on social media. They've raised their hand and they've said, you know, I like you. I'd like to have you as my real estate agent. Bring me into your world. These folks, we want to move them through the process. And the way to do this is to stay in touch with them a minimum of 36 touches a year. So we'll go through the MREA 2 prescribed touch plan and understand that this is not something that's set in stone. That you really want to understand that the top agents are touching their databases many more than 36 times. This is truly what needs to happen in order to convert those contacts in your database into actual business and transactions. And hey, that's what we're here for, right? So your 36 to convert plan is going to consist of 4 touches. This is going to look familiar. It's those quarterly phone calls again, the DTD2. And don't mistake that this telephone call is the most valuable. Aside from a person-to-person interaction, the telephone call in the hierarchy of valuable rapport building contacts is pretty high in that pyramid. It's right after in-person contact and possibly video. The telephone is extremely impactful. So don't erase the telephone call. Don't allow yourself to get away from that. If you're not a fan of the phone, let's have a separate conversation about what value can you offer or what conversation makes it such that you're excited to share that information with the people that you need to call. The 26 touches here are going to be bi-weekly emails with an offer of information or value. And this could be a newsletter and a follow-up. This could be, hey, I have buyers. Here's their wanted. I have 4 buyers looking for a single family home in Pretoria, and they need to have 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. Who might you know that's looking to sell that property? They're going to be offering and planting seeds for those homeowners and people in your database to be communicating. And these pieces do a few things. They may actually get someone to raise their hand and say, I want to sell. I know someone who wants to sell, or wow, that agent's really busy. They're exactly who I want to go to when I have a real estate need. So we're really cementing ourselves again as the real estate market expert of choice. The 2 touches are going to be events, get-togethers, parties, things like that. And I know what you're all thinking. We can't do that in a COVID environment. I get it. I totally get it. And we're going to talk a little bit about virtual events. If you all have run any virtual events, we'd really especially love to hear what's working in the virtual world to attract your contacts to have engagement with you and to deepen those relationships. Also, 4 promotional direct mail touches every year. That goes back to your calendar, your coupons, things that people are going to get that they're going to say, this is valuable. I'm going to stick it up on the refrigerator, and it's got your picture and your information on it. And everybody that comes to their house is going to see it on the refrigerator. These are items of value. All right, I'm going to pause right here. I'm going to head up to the chat and let us see what questions we may have from the group. All right, chat. So let's see. Let's go back. Okay. What period does a 19 touch campaign run for? The 19 touch campaign runs for as long as it takes for that person to move into a permission-based relationship with you. You can do the 19 touches and just move them over to the 36 touch, or you can say, I'm reserving my 36 touch communications for only those top level folks in my database that I want to make sure are getting the highest amount of my attention, the most valuable invitations to client events, wine tastings, movie nights, things like that. So it really is optional as far as how you run that. And if you want to keep that standard of a contact, to be clear, is someone that you've got that relationship with and you've met. Okay. DTD2 is absolutely amazing. It keeps you on task, and it's very simple. It's clear who you need to call. For example, the first week in any cycle are the last names that start with A and W, kind of like the root beer. So A and W is the first week in the DTD2. You're going to call everyone in your database whose last name starts with A and W. Okay, do you combine the annual event touch from the 19 to connect with the annual event? You can absolutely have one event where everybody's invited, and then one event that's strictly for those contacts, just to keep it a little. You want those the haven't mets, the leads, you want them to desire to move into that relationship. And knowing that you're running other events, maybe they're seeing it on your Facebook that you had a client event, that's going to make them say, uh-oh, I've got FOMO. I want to be in that group. I got to talk more to this agent so that I can enjoy the champagne tasting, the wine pairing, the movie night with the family, pictures in the park, whatever it is, the event that you're offering of value to your contacts. All right, let's see. Mouse, let's cooperate. Here we go. One can use WhatsApp easily and very cost effectively, including sending videos, photos, etc., and voice messages. Absolutely agree. WhatsApp is amazing for that. And I'll tell you, one of the things that we employed as a MAPS coach with my clients during COVID was to shift it up a little bit. The communication that we had been having over the telephone or social media, we took it one step forward, and we actually started doing gratitude videos, birthday videos. And that video, again, is really high up on the pyramid of rapport building contacts. And so the video got such amazing responses from my clients' databases that they're hooked on it now. They're doing it because it's helping them to connect at a higher level and to convert more business with their database. That's a great point about WhatsApp. Facebook Messenger. I love Facebook Messenger. Makes it really easy to connect with people, go on to their news feeds and see what's happening in their life, like, comment, shoot them a message in Messenger. That's a great two-way conversation. And hey, that counts as a contact too, right? So you're killing a lot of birds with one stone. You're deepening the relationship and you're hitting that bucket for your daily contacts. Excellent. All right, I always feel like I'm falling behind with my database, but adding it to my calendar with good time management should sort this out. 100%. Part of what we need to be doing is carrying over our plans. We get a great plan, right? And it's not the plan that's the problem. It's the execution, isn't it? We always fail in the execution because we allow all of the other things in our world to start to eke in on our lead gen time. And as a MAPS coach, as I've mentioned, reminding agents that your top 20% is likely never going to scream for your attention, and that the people in your world are constantly going to try to pull you away from your 20% and into their 20%. You have to be fiercely protective of that time. Whatever you have to put on the calendar to make sure you're protecting that, honoring it, bunkering down, meaning phone is on do not disturb, the email is shut off. And if you need to start your morning with your mindset in the right place, avoid media, social media, emails, text messages, checking in with your admin, script and role play right into lead gen. That way you've practiced through and you've gotten the rust out of the pipes, so to speak, and worked through the challenges of that script. And now you're ready to really have the conversation with the humans, right? Okay. Bunker down, be fiercely protective. If you have to set that up as an appointment with Gary Keller on your calendar every day in order to show up for your lead gen, go ahead and do that. You have my permission. All right, so I've set up campaigns called 15 Days to Connect, which is for people who reached out to me, but I haven't had a two-way conversation with yet. Then 35 Days to Trust, which is based on 8x8 to build a personal connection. Then 1 year to business, which is the 36 touch. Sounds like I need to extend the 35 Days to Trust until they move into my VIP database. Yeah, because what else happens to them? You haven't caught them yet. You haven't either connected with them in their window of need, or you haven't said something that was compelling enough for them to reach out to you, to raise their hand and say, yes, I need your help. Let's have a conversation. So I would say yes, either consider running that 19 or your touch is there, which is 35, continue to run that and just have a plan. And again, it's not the plans that fail, it's the execution. So if you can automate that to 35 Days to Trust, 1, and you've got a certain drip campaign that goes out, you call them a certain number of times, you mail if you have their physical address, 35 Days to Trust 2. Let's see how long it takes before they have their window of need. And then really, I wouldn't say add anybody into your contact circle, because that's when they're really going to start to enjoy all of the stuff that you're providing in this 36 touch, which is really meant to be for past clients, sphere and allied resources, people who give you referrals. This is really your high level inner circle people that you really want to engage and pour value into. We don't want people who aren't engaging with us really in that circle, right? Okay, you guys are awesome. I love this. Thank you for asking that question. And I'm curious to know, it doesn't sound like we've hit on the essentials. So maybe we will go back to that and check in on that slide. Here's some of the things that I want you to really think about when it comes to the people who are receiving your 36 touch. Now, we talk about value proposition a lot, and being clear for you as an agent or as a team, what is your unique value proposition? What is the thing that you offer that they can't get anywhere else? Well, I'm the expert agent in this neighborhood. I specifically sell and work with homeowners who need to buy at the same time. That can be a niche and be very stressful. What is the thing that you do that you specialize in? And craft an elevator speech, just a 4-line, 20-second, here's who I help. And think about what information does the client need? What problem do they have? And maybe they don't know they have a problem yet. Maybe they need to understand interest rates are really low and that they have the highest amount of equity and that their home is likely worth the most it'll ever be worth today. We don't know what's going to happen in the real estate market. The world is ever changing. But does the person sitting at home, the average human, do they know this stuff? You know it. We need to be delivering that information to the future and potential clients that's going to solve their problems. So consider that when you're reaching out to people. What am I sending them that's going to solve their problem? Maybe even if they don't know they have one yet. Really need to remember this is permission-based communication, because the last thing you want to do is be inviting people to things and then having them opt out of your emails. You want these people to be finding value in what you're offering. And if they're not, two things. Take a look at what you're offering. And if the majority of people are finding value in it, you're probably headed in the right direction. And maybe you had one or two that got in there that didn't really belong. But find out from your sphere and database what they consider to be valuable. What do they need to hear? What do they want to know about? You can do this really easily with either a Google form survey or a SurveyMonkey survey to ask them, what is important to you right now? What would you like to hear? What real estate information or community information can I provide you that you would find valuable? And this is really about having an interactive relationship that's moving to that needs-based problem solving. What do they need what need did they have that you can fill? That specific need that you can fill that they can't get from anyone else. This 36 touch goes to the entire database. So you may find that you don't want certain tags getting certain touches. So just be aware of that. And when you institute this 36 touch, your clients are going to hear from you at a minimum of once every 11 days. And that's going to make sure that you are present, top of mind in their mind share when they have their window of need. Whether it's a question, they need to know a value, suddenly something changes, they're relocating, birth, death, taxes, job, whatever it is that's causing them to have a real estate need, you're going to be the next agent. You're probably the last agent, and you're going to be the next agent that they hear from, which is going to ensure that you connect with them and get that business. All right, I'm going to swing back over here to that slide and answer the question about the effective, right? Is where we were: obtain permission, collect personal information, insights, and preferences, segment and group based on those preferences, and implement purposeful and consistent communication. I'm going to check my chat here, see what we have. All right. That's a cool idea. Add a few extra steps in the pipeline through that trust building bit. Absolutely. Consistency in a virtual world And with leads, that's really what we have with them, is a virtual relationship. Consistency breeds trust. And just like a buyer, and I have a saying, we stay in touch with them until they buy, die, or tell us, bye-bye, don't contact me anymore. It's sort of the same idea. We want to be connecting with people that find value in what we're offering. We also want to give them every opportunity to see they have a need that we can fill and give them that connection and that trust in order for us to earn their business. Okay. Let's see. Let's go over here. Where's my mouse? All right. A cool thing to know from my campaign experience, it takes 186 days for a client that started as a cold call to answer the phone by greeting you directly. That's interesting to know. So your conversion rate of dial to contact is 186 to 186 days for them to really buy into the relationship and the value that you're bringing to them, to answer the phone and say, hey, Sean, how are you? Thanks so much for calling me today. Or, hey, sorry, I haven't engaged with you in any of the other things that you've sent. Yeah. And at that's the point that they know you're their realtor. It's that consistency that's going to earn you that business 100%. Do you run a tiered system for promotions or value items? Someone on the 19 to connect might get a market report while the VIP will get a check. Absolutely. And this is the reason why we want to make sure that we're using tags or labels to keep clear which promotions we're running to who should be getting whatever it is that we're offering, to make sure that we're keeping that tiered. Those leads are looking at what the contacts are getting, going, I got to get there, right? And further, there's an amazing book by a KW agent named Liz Johnson called Perk Your Sphere. And I've had it in front of me for the past week, and Lord knows, here it is right here. It's called Perk Your Sphere. I'm gonna hold it up. Hopefully you guys can see this. It's a teeny tiny little book. It's like 50 pages, and it's available on Amazon. And it talks about just this idea to create within your database different levels of VIPs. So you may have a gold circle, a silver circle, and a platinum circle. And each of those different tiers equal a different thing. Past clients get into everything. People who give you one referral move up to the next level, and maybe they're getting perked by getting, a mug or a brownie for a referral, or a gift card to a coffee shop or a local restaurant. They're just getting perks for being in your world and giving you an opportunity to have future business. None of this is based on that business actually closing. This is really about them engaging with you and helping you build your business. So that's actually a great point. Check out that book, because it tells you exactly how to do that and how to be mindful in setting up those tiers, and maybe how to think about, what differentiates, everybody who's a past client, sphere, maybe vendor or close affiliate that helps you in your business, such as title attorney, settlement, what have you. Absolutely. Scroll to bottom. Oh, let me see. Can I scroll to bottom? Let's see. Can I? Nope. That's all I've got there, guys. All right. So it looks like I'm just going to do a quick time check. 10:42. Let me just go back for a second. Let's make sure we've covered all of our points in said slideshow. We have. That's amazing. And a couple of points I just want to reiterate. Make sure you're setting that goal for growing your database. Lead generation is for two things: setting appointments to fill in your pipeline and growing your database. Do not miss an opportunity to grow your business by adding 3 names a day or however many you need in order to achieve the amount of business you want to have in your life by design, growing your database and cultivating that. Like Gary says, build a moat around it. Build a moat around it. Make it such that the people that are in your 36 touch plan, your contacts, would not do business with anyone else because you are always there. You're always showing up. You're always providing value, and they have a great relationship with you. I don't see anything else in the chat. Y'all have been absolutely positively amazing. I trust you got value from this session. Thank you so much, South Africa. This has been an absolute joy and blessing in my life. Thank you.